Welcome, friend, to Sleep West. Tonight we'll drift back to the wild sands of New Mexico where the winds never forget, and neither do the people. This is the story of a lone rancher who offered kindness to a lost girl. But what happened next? The accusation, the penalty, and the truth that came out. You won't believe what he had to face, or what the chief did when he found out. So close your eyes, rest your bones, and let the West take over. The sun was just about gone. Logan Reid stood on his front steps, one boot on the railing, watching the horizon turn orange and purple. He was 35, a rancher, worked alone, lived alone. Ever since his wife and kids disappeared 2 years ago, he kept to his land and left the world alone. Then he heard it, a knock, soft, uneven. He opened the door, and there she was, a little girl, maybe 8 years old, barefoot, dirt on her face, hair tangled. She looked up at him and passed out right at his feet. Logan didn't move right away. He just stared at the little thing lying there, arms limp, dress torn, skin burned from the wind. She was breathing, barely. He set his hat on the table, bent down, and scooped her up gentle as he could. Inside, the air was warmer. He laid her on the old leather couch by the fire, fetched a blanket, then filled a tin cup with water. She didn't wake, not that night, just twitched now and then, like she was stuck in some awful dream. Logan sat nearby, boots crossed, elbows on his knees, watching her. He didn't know where she came from, didn't know who she belonged to, but one thing was clear: she wasn't safe out there. And now she was his responsibility. Morning light slipped through the cracks in the wooden blinds. Logan was already up. He'd dozed off in the chair by the fire, boots still on, hat across his chest. That's when he heard her. A cough, then a whisper. Water. He moved slow, grabbed the tin cup off the table, still half full, held it to her lips. She drank like she hadn't tasted water in days. You got a name? He asked. She looked up at him. Weah. He nodded once, didn't push further. You hungry? She nodded. He warmed some cornbread and stew. She ate quiet, staring at the flames. Logan didn't ask where she came from, not yet, but he felt it, like a storm creeping over the hills. Whoever she was, someone would be coming. 2 days later, Logan saddled up and rode into town. Weah was sleeping better, eating regular. He told her he'd be back before sundown. The wind picked up as he crossed into Silver Ridge, just a dust-blown line of buildings baked into the red rock. He stepped into the general store, grabbed flour, coffee, and jerky, then stopped dead when he heard it. Chief Red Elk's daughter's gone missing, a man at the counter whispered. Vanished 3 nights ago. Storm rolled through right after. Logan's hand tightened around the coffee tin. Another voice chimed in. They say the chief's gone mad over it, sent out riders in every direction, blamin' white folks. Logan set the coffee down, didn't say a word, just walked out, and rode hard for home. Weah. He nodded once, didn't push further. You hungry? She nodded. He warmed some cornbread and stew. She ate quiet, staring at the flames. Logan didn't ask where she came from. Not yet. But he felt it, like a storm creeping over the hills. Whoever she was, someone would be coming. 2 days later, Logan saddled up and rode into town. Wea was sleeping better, eating regular. He told her he'd be back before sundown. The wind picked up as he crossed into Silver Ridge, just a dust-blown line of buildings baked into the red rock. He stepped into the general store, grabbed flour, coffee, and jerky, then stopped dead when he heard it. "Chief Red Elk's daughter's gone missin'," a man at the counter whispered. "Vanished 3 nights ago. Storm rolled through right after." Logan's hand tightened around the coffee tin. Another voice chimed in. "They say the chief's gone mad over it. Sent out riders in every direction, blamin' white folks." Logan set the coffee down, didn't say a word, just walked out, and rode hard for home. "Wea." He nodded once, didn't push further. "You hungry?" She nodded. Logan saw the dust cloud before he heard the hooves. He stepped out onto the porch, hand resting on the rifle by the door, but not picking it up. The riders came slow at first. Then he saw the war paint, the feathers. 100, maybe more. They stopped on the ridge just beyond the fence line. Dead silence. And then a voice, deep and booming, echoed down the valley. "You have taken what is not yours." Logan didn't move. Wea stepped beside him, quiet, barefoot. She looked up at the ridge and whispered, "My father." Logan's jaw tightened. The chief rode forward alone, raised his hand. "Bring her out, now, or face what's coming." Logan stepped down from the porch. "She came to me starving, alone. I fed her, that's all." The chief's eyes didn't flinch. "You know nothing of what you've done." The chief's voice grew harder. "You took her. You hid her. My warriors say you planned to keep her." Logan stayed still. "I didn't take anything. She collapsed on my porch. I gave her food. That's it." The chief raised his hand. A signal. A few of the warriors nudged forward. It was about to turn. Then Wea stepped in front of Logan, her small frame between him and 100 riders. Her voice was steady. "I came to him starving," she said. "I had no shoes, no strength. I would have died that night." She turned to her father, her eyes locked on his. "If he meant harm, I'd be gone. But I'm here, because he protected me." The chief didn't blink. "We do not let strangers take what is ours." Wea raised her voice. "If you punish him, if you kill a man for helping a child, the stories they tell about us will be true, that we're murderers, savages." She looked at the circle of riders. "He fed me, like a father, that's all." The wind moved. No one else did. Then the chief turned his horse and dismounted. He walked toward the house. Logan stepped aside. The chief entered, slow, eyes scanning the small wooden room, the fireplace still warm, a half-folded blanket on the couch. He looked at Weah. Where did you sleep? She pointed at the couch. He looked at the bowl on the table, half full of stew. Then his eyes stopped on a photo sitting on the shelf. A woman, two small children, smiling. The chief picked it up. These yours? He asked. Logan nodded once. My wife, my kids, gone 2 years now. Raiders took 'em. The chief stared at the photo for a long while. 5 minutes passed, maybe more. Then he put the photo down, careful, and nodded. Then he spoke, quieter this time. You lost your family. Logan nodded, jaw tight. The chief turned to Weah. Get your things. She looked up, startled. I don't want to leave. You must, he said, but gently now. Your people need you. She looked at Logan. He didn't say much, just knelt down and handed her the small blanket she'd been sleeping with. She held it to her chest and walked to her father. The chief rested a hand on Logan's shoulder. We ride at first light. Come to our camp, alone. Then he turned and rode off with his daughter, the war party melting into the hills behind them. Logan stood on the porch, watched until they were gone, and in the silence he whispered, Don't let this be another goodbye. By morning, the message was clear. Logan was to come alone. No weapons, no horse, just his word. He left early, walking through the sagebrush and red dirt, the sun still low behind him. By the time he reached the canyon pass, smoke curled over the ridge, cooking fires rising slow into the sky. The tribal camp was carved right into the land. Wooden posts, buffalo hides, canvas tents stretched between the red rock walls. And silence. Heavy. Hundreds stood, watching, eyes sharp, but not cruel. Logan didn't flinch. He walked straight in, toward the center fire, where the chief sat beneath a carved post, arms crossed, war paint still on his face. Weah stood behind him, holding that same blanket tight. You won't believe what the chief said next, or what he threatened to do. If you're still here, friend, subscribe to Sleep West. The hardest part of this story's just getting started. Chief, calm but firm. You came. Logan, nodding. You asked. Chief, after a long pause. My daughter told me what you did, how you treated her. Logan, quietly. She's a kid. Wasn't gonna let her starve out there. Chief, some would've. Logan, then they don't deserve to call themselves men. A beat. A hawk cries in the distance. Chief, she says you lost your family. Logan doesn't speak, just nods. Chief, after a pause. 2 years ago, raiders from the south left no tracks, no trail. Logan's eyes sharpen. Logan, how do you know that? Chief, because I lost people too. That same week, same signs. The fire crackled low. Logan stood still, fists clenched at his sides. You're telling me the same men who took my wife, my kids, are still out there? His voice was low, flat, but boiling underneath. The chief didn't blink. They are, south of the canyon, hiding behind stone and guns. Logan took a step forward. Then I'll go. Tonight. I'll find 'em myself. The chief stood, his voice steady. You'd die before you got close. Maybe, Logan said, jaw tight. But I ain't letting 'em breathe easy another day. A long pause. Then the chief put a hand on Logan's shoulder. We ride together. Logan looked up, surprised. What? Those raiders took from you, and from me. They think we're still enemies. Let's prove 'em wrong. The chief raised his voice. Logan Reid is not our enemy. He is our friend. The men around the fire nodded, silent but sure. Go now, the chief said. Rest, prepare. We ride before the sun breaks the ridge. Logan walked back through the canyon that night, quiet, angry, hope burning hotter than ever. He was done waiting. Tomorrow, at sunrise, he'd ride into hell if he had to get his family back. And this time, he wasn't riding alone. So now you know how far one man went to do the right thing. Logan didn't ask for trouble. He just opened his door and found himself standing between a war chief and the only family he had left in this world. Now he's got one shot to get them back. At sunrise, Logan and the chief will ride, not as enemies, but as brothers in battle. And you still want to know how it ends, don't you? Whether Logan's wife and children are still alive, whether he ever sees them again. You'll have to ride with us a little farther, so if you want to hear the rest, drop a comment below for part 2, and subscribe to Sleep West so you don't miss it. We'll be back soon. But for now, you're safe. You're out here in the West, and it's time to rest, partner.